going on, dudes and dudettes? So some pretty big news in the NFL coming out of Arizona. So apparently the Arizona Cardinals have released their top wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, who is obviously one of the top 3 or 5 great receivers in the NFL as of right now. But I guess he was owed a bunch of money. They couldn't get a trade deal done with him because I think he's owed like 30-something million. But luckily, they're going to eat like 19 million of that. So going to pretty much sign for whatever with any team he goes to. But he did mention earlier this week, like a couple days ago, that there were some teams that he would be interested, at least some quarterbacks, because he's always never really played with a top tier quarterback. But he did mention the likes of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, obviously Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, but also, lastly, he did mention Justin Herbert too. And we talked about it before that this would be a nice thing if they were able to trade for him because he is, at least the Chargers are on the list. At least Justin Herbert is. But luckily they didn't have to waste anything when it comes to picks or any of their cap space right now. So they should be able to sign him to like a $9-10 million deal. So I think right now of those 5 teams, we have the most in cap space of about $13 million. So it's looking like we should be able to offer him the most money, and it's a quarterback that he likes. I know a lot of people are mentioning New England as well, but their offensive coordinator is Bill O'Brien, who was his head coach in Houston when he was coaching there still, and he traded him away to Arizona, so I don't know why he would want to reunite with him there. But either way, it could be very interesting going into this part of the summer off season, going into workouts and stuff, so we'll see what ends up happening with him. Then there was a report that came out from, I believe, Dave McMenamin, who covers the Lakers for ESPN, that he said that LeBron, or someone close to LeBron, said that LeBron does plan on playing out this year of his contract. They keep saying it's like the final year of his deal, which I guess it technically is. He is supposed to be on the books for a player option after the season coming up, but that's why it's a player option, so it's up to him if he wants to come back or not. And it kind of could give him all the leverage he can and end up just leaving the Lakers high and dry and not being able to get like a draft pick or another player back in a trade, because if it really just depends up to where his son Bronny ends up getting drafted, he could end up just leaving the Lakers contract there and going to sign with whoever, unless the Lakers are that desperate and still have a first round pick or use their first round pick on him, even if he does deserve it or not. You never know. But obviously it's kind of calmed down the retirement crap. I'm pretty sure, obviously he just said that type of stuff. He didn't really fully say retirement, like I said in one of the last videos, but everybody took it that way. And of course ESPN has been nonstop talking about it, even though it's pretty obvious he did that because he doesn't want anybody talking about the 4-0 sweep that happened to my LA Lakers. But either way, it's just controlling the narrative, as they say. It's dumb how easily ESPN is running with this for some dumb reason. They should have already stopped a while ago. But either way, we'll have to move on from this. But I know there was a report too that came out that, according to the Lakers front office, or a source from there, saying that they would be willing to match any offers given to their restricted free agents in Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, which is nice because I mentioned before that those are the 2 guys that I would prefer to come back, whether it's a bench role or starting role next year, either way. But it is nice to be able to have guys on restricted contracts because you're able to re-sign them with any of those matched offers and stuff, and you're able to go around the cap or just above it or just under it, so you're not going to get penalized too much because it is a guy that's still on your roster technically. So either way, I think it'll be a win-win for them in their depth overall, because I'm glad they're at least doing this strategy instead of the way they did with like Alex Caruso and letting him go, and a player like that, which Austin Reeves resembles, but he's not quite the defensive prowess that Alex Caruso was at the time and still is. So either way, I think it'd be a good look into next season if they're able to bring both those guys back. So there's another report out there that the Lakers are not willing to pursue a max deal with D'Angelo Russell, which is music to my ears because obviously I don't want him back in any way. But if they could get him back on a cheaper mid-level deal or a cheaper $10 to $15 million 1 year deal or 2 year $20-something million deal, which I doubt he would want, but I know the main reason why he was even traded from Minnesota was because he was trying to get like a 4-year $100 million extension on his contract from them. So they obviously did not want to give him that, and the Lakers aren't dumb enough to do that as well. For the type of caliber player he is, they will do that for someone else, but not him. But either way, I think if you're able to maybe use him in a sign-in trade that I will talk about, if he's willing to do that, then I think that could work out. But you just never know with some of these guys. But yeah, even after the video I made talking about a mock trade for Trae Young to the Lakers to be the big 3 stars in LA, then there was some rumblings that the Lakers could end up, or that Trae Young could be a part of a blockbuster trade this summer, and it would include the Lakers. So obviously hoping that the Lakers would end up getting him and they aren't like the third team thrown into some type of deal like that. But like always, the season barely just ended for the Lakers, not even the regular NBA season in these playoffs, and the news just seems to be coming up all about the Lakers and the speculation and everything like that, which is nothing new, but it is still pretty crazy. But speaking of that mock trade, I know a lot of people have been mentioning that the Lakers should go after a point guard, shooting guard type of player in Fred VanVleet from Toronto, who is a really good player. And obviously, you kind of make that connection too because he is a Clutch Sports client who are friends with LeBron, and they always try to get their clients onto the Lakers roster, which always seems to happen. Which I think even Anthony Davis became one once he was, I think, right before he was traded to the Lakers, so it kind of was connecting the dots there. But even Trae Young is a Clutch client as well. But yeah, with this mock trade, I had the Lakers getting Fred VanVleet and Chris Boucher, a nice power forward / center. He's more of like a defensive, athletic type of player, but could still be good coming off the bench for LA. And then LA is sending D'Angelo Russell in a sign-in trade. I don't know exactly, because sign-in trades could be hard, could be not, especially if with all the new projections going into this new CBA deal, because I know you can't keep 3 players with over $30+ million contracts, but I think VanVleet is like right under that with the high 20-something million dollars, so I think that could work out. But if you're also too close to the cap room, I think you can't do a sign-in trade. But either way, I know a lot of people are talking about this, a lot of industry type of people, so it must be possible either way. But they're sending D'Angelo Russell in the sign-in trade. Also have them sending Malik Beasley, who's owed $16 million on a team option, so the Lakers still have to decide if they want to bring him back or not. And then they're sending the second, or he will be a second-year player, and Max Christie, just to give them some type of piece going into their future to see if they want to keep him or not. And they will most likely have to give up, the first-round pick this year as well. So that could be a nice thing to entice them to have a 17 overall pick in this year's draft. So you never know, but it could be an interesting thing for the Lakers this summer if they want to trade for a nice star like Fred VanVleet from Toronto. So a USC, I want to say he was an ex-USC offensive tackle, and Jason Rodriguez, because earlier this year he did retire supposedly, but apparently he just entered the transfer portal earlier this week, so that was kind of surprising. But I guess he still feels he's going to be able to play, but he's not going to be able to play at USC. But it's kind of like, why say you're going to retire and then not try to fight for a backup role or even for a starting role on this team. But either way, good luck to him. Never really got a chance to play for USC. I don't even know if he did or not, but there's a lot of offensive linemen that end up having that type of career at USC. But either way, good luck to him, and we'll see what his future holds. And then some type of news that came out about ex-USC athletic director Mike Bohn. But it's weird that it's coming from his ex-stop in the University of Cincinnati, where apparently said that he had like a toxic work environment and he made some racially insensitive comments as well while he was there running the show. But I know he had some stuff in his past. I didn't know it was that bad, but it was still enough for President Folt at USC to still hire him, and everything was good and copacetic apparently. But it's kind of weird that that's the news that's coming out from an ex-stop. So if that's what he's going to be getting in trouble for, then why did he leave USC? So it's most likely something he brought back from Cincinnati to USC, and it's probably the same type of toxic work environment and all that stuff. I don't know if it's racially driven out here at USC. I doubt it, but either way, it was enough to not just be suspended by the school or NCAA, and he just had to resign. So it must have been that bad, apparently. I don't know if we'll know the full story ever, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In House of Victory, they've been kind of low on the signings this week, but they did make a signing the other day with the offensive lineman Mason Murphy at USC. I want to say it's his second year there, but he looks like he will be competing for one of the starting roles on that offensive line. So he looks like a nice, promising young player. He did get some playing time last year, so congrats to him. I believe the 2023 Max Preps Player of the Year in California for basketball was apparently Caleb Foster, who is going to Duke, so that's pretty cool. Congrats to him, and obviously he's going to be one of the top guys going into Duke. Whether if he's good enough to leave after 1 year, you never know. But yes, Duke is looking like a stacked, loaded team out there, and definitely already considered to be a top 5 team overall going into next year. There were a lot of good visits this last weekend for USC football that had a lot of highly talented dudes that apparently said they had great visits as well. So the 5-star defensive lineman Edric Houston said it went well. The 5-star wide receiver Brian Westco and the 4-star cornerback Braylon Conley said everything was great. They had a great time, obviously talking one-on-one with the head coach Lincoln Riley and the direction that the team is going in the program, and everything looked good. Even though that news obviously of Mike Boone came out, everything still looked great with the football program. So getting positive news from guys like that is really awesome, and it's definitely going to be a big momentum thing going into the next couple of weekends, because first couple Saturdays of June, and even especially June 16th, this is going to be this big time recruiting weekend with a lot of top guys out here. And last year was when they had like a big thing at Lincoln Riley's house as well, and that's like 14 of like those 20 plus guys that went that weekend signed with USC. So it's a big time weekend, so hoping for the best for my USC Trojans and their football team. So Athlon came out with their preseason All-Americans and the Pac-12 honors. I forget exactly who Athlon is, but if the USC football program is willing to post something and make an edit on their football Twitter page, then I guess it's good enough to talk about. So of all the All-Americans for the Athlon or whatever it's called, they obviously had the quarterback Caleb Williams, the safety Kalen Bullock, and they also had Dorian Singer, the wide receiver who transferred from Arizona. That was pretty cool to get them on the All-American list for whatever that is. But then they also had the Pac-12 honors, which had quite a few guys, like 19 plus, almost 20 plus guys on there from USC. So I'll get into the first, second, third, and fourth teams. So a lot of guys have to name off. So let's see how good I can do it. Obviously, the quarterback Caleb Williams, the safety Kalen Bullock, the linebacker transfer Mason Cobb, wide receiver Dorian Singer, another transfer, and the punter, I know it says Eddie C. It looks like C. Zaplicki, but I think it's pronounced Chaplicki. They're all named to the first team as well, so that was pretty cool for them for the Pac-12 honors. Second team, they had Justin Dedich from their offensive line, their center, Jarrett Kingston, another transfer, the offensive tackle, another tackle, and Jonah Monheim, Eric Gentry, the linebacker, and the cornerback Sierra Wright, which is kind of surprising just because he had a bit of an up and down season last year, and he's just been doing okay. It looks like two other guys like Jacoby Covington and Christian Roland Wallace, the transfer from Arizona, look like they're going to start for USC at the corner position, so you never know what's going to happen with that. Third team end up having wide receiver Mario Williams, Bear Alexander, the transfer, Anthony Lucas, the transfer, Jack Sullivan, the transfer, seem to be all on the defensive line, Raleek Brown, the running back, but he was on the special teams part for third team, and Michael Jackson III, the returning wide receiver, made the third team as well, so that's pretty good for them. And the fourth team, they have Marshawn Lloyd, the transfer running back from South Carolina. Raleek Brown made this, but on the offensive side. And then Max Williams, the cornerback for USC. Did pretty okay last year, except when he had to play against taller tight ends and bigger guys on the inside. But he did make the 14th here, so we'll see what he does. I know his talented younger brother is like a 4-star cornerback as well. Hoping to get him once these June visits happen and commit to USC for next year. So looking forward to that. So yeah, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so you have anybody, in the armed service or that served this country, please thank them for me, and thank everybody out there who has allowed us to be able to enjoy our lives here in America. Thank you for your service, for your duty. Greatly appreciated, and we respect all of you for now and forever. So yes, like I said, thanks again. Have a good rest of your day, and bye. Fight on.